Good morning, everybody. How are you? Let me get the camera adjusted a little bit. I thought I was live, and then I couldn't find myself. Oh, it's just one thing after another. Hello, Nisi. Nice to see you. Hi, Philomena. Yay, you're sharing already. How wonderful. Jean is here. Teresa is here. Thank you. This is my one and only Facebook Live. I will not be doing mailbox shares this week. I'll be at the farm. I don't even think my internet would handle it out there. So, good morning. Oh, good. You guys are such good shares. Well, that's good because we do a giveaway on Tuesdays. So last week on Tuesday, I was giving away holiday rhinestones. So we have some winners. Congratulations to Cindy Howard and Darcy Dutton. So you are the winners. Just see me afterwards by going to either my Facebook page. You can message me straight from there to let me know your address. Or if you wish, you can email me at stampingtoshare@gmail.com and send me your address and you will get your holiday rhinestones. So today, I didn't pick out anything. I've had a busy morning. I will give something away, but it's going to be a surprise because I'm packing up kits to go. So I am kind of discombobulated. I'm just getting everything ready and I'm still waiting for an order to come in and I'm not sure that it's going to get here. It might get here tomorrow when I'm not here, but regardless, that order would only have a couple of items in that I wouldn't be able to put in my kits to go, and it would only affect about 2 people, I think. So I'm going to mail out the majority of my Pretty Pumpkin kits to go, and then the rest I will probably mail on Thursday or Friday after my order comes in. Hello, welcome. Yeah, so it's a little busy and I am just kind of making time out here to do this Facebook Live. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip the camera down and we'll get rolling with this card. Okay, so just in case you're wondering who I am, my name is Kay Kaltoff and I am with Stamping to Share. It's the name of my personal business. I am a demonstrator for Stampin' Up! And I love to share my card making skills with you on Facebook Live. And so that is what I am doing today, and we are focusing on the Whimsical Trees stamp set and the beautiful Whimsy and Wonder Specialty Designer Series paper. Oh my gosh, this paper just really makes these cards come alive because it has silver foil in it and it's absolutely gorgeous. And then you have some very beautiful ornaments. So no matter how you cut this paper, you're going to have beautiful ornaments. And then you can decide where you want your ribbon to be. So it can be high, it can be low. You can put your sentiment high or low depending on where it looks the best for you. And so there is some flexibility with this card. I'm also going to be using the Stamparatus to stamp that sentiment, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then the inside panel is pretty straightforward. It's just stamped sentiment and a little bit of designer series paper that we carry through. So the Whimsical Trees stamp set actually is available as a bundle. I'm not using the bundle pieces today, but I do recommend that if you decide to purchase the Whimsical Trees, you go ahead and get the bundle at the same time because the bundle gives you beautiful dies that you can use to accentuate your gorgeous trees. And it also coordinates with the designer series paper and it coordinates with the actual stamps themselves. And so the actual dies that I'm using today are the scalloped contour dies. You've seen me use these so many times. It's one of my favorites. I just love these rectangles. In fact, this card right here uses one. And then I love this bigger scallop, this kind of edge scallop here, and we're going to be using that in the card too. All right, so let's go ahead and make this beautiful card. I know you're excited about it. So what are we going to do first? Well, we're going to go ahead and pick our cardstock. So based on the colors in the card, I chose to work with mint macaron, and this is cut at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And the next thing we're going to do is our inside panel. Super simple. We've got a 3/4 inch by 4-inch panel of designer series paper that helps to just kind of bring the theme from the front of the card to the inside of the card. So just add a little bit of glue down there. We'll put it at the bottom of this basic white panel, and the basic white panel is 4 by 5 1/4. And then we'll do a little stamping here. And if you're a little insecure about your stamping, I recommend that you stamp before you put any papers down. I'm just so used to stamping that it's pretty easy for me. But I know when I was a fairly new stamper, I always stamped first so that in case I made a mistake, I could flip it over. So there we have our wishing you Christmas cheer and magical moments that last all year. Such a pretty little sentiment. And again, that is stamped with mint macaron. I'm going to leave the ink out because we're going to use that on the outside panel of our card. And so what we're going to do though now is get this out of the way. And I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal on the back. And we're just going to put one little strip of Stampin' Seal to keep it nice and easy and loose and flowing. I think it makes a more elegant card. But of course, that's up to you. If you like putting Stampin' Seal on all 4 borders, you go for it. All right, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab some pieces to make our next panel. So let me bring the card in and show you what this next panel is going to be. The next panel is something we don't want to put down until we actually are sure we have all of our wraps on. And you might notice there is a beautiful wrap of ribbon here. It's a new ribbon in our mini catalog, and it's the Blushing Bride. Oh no, now I can't think of the name of it, but I happen to have it right here. So maybe it's a grosgrain ribbon. Oh, frayed grosgrain ribbon. I could have figured that out. Yes, the edges are frayed. It's really pretty. And it does tie on, a beautiful tie on that lays fairly flat. So I don't think it'll be a problem to mail. So what we want to do first is we've got a panel of Blushing Bride, and it's a little smaller. It's 1/8 inch smaller than what you would normally expect to see on a step down panel on the front of your card. So instead of it being 5 1/4 by 4, it's actually 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. That gives just a little bit more room for the beautiful mint macaron to show through. And so we're going to use this as a template for setting together our designer series paper. And so the next step is to cut your designer series paper. So this bigger panel right here that has all the beautiful ornaments, that's 3 1/8 by 4 7/8. So that will end up going right here, but we don't want to put that down yet. And then we're also going to cut another panel that has the mint macaron background. That's 1 1/4 by 4 7/8. And that you run through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with this particular die. And all I did was center that in like this. So there's about the same amount of scallop on each side that's cut in half. And then I ran it through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I got this panel right here. So you can see how I did that. But now what we want to do is we want to take this panel and attach it to this panel and put a ribbon wrap on it. So how do you do that? You're going to use this as your template so you know you have a guideline of where this all needs to go. So what I like to do is I set my scallop panel down first, and then this is going to go over the top. So I'm going to put some glue on this scallop edge here, just on the left-hand side. And then we're going to set this in so that it is about where we want it on our panel. Then we'll take this panel, 3 1/8 by 4 7/8, and we're just going to set that on just loosely. And because we use glue, we've got a little bit of a wiggle room. So we want to get this so all of our edges are nice and even. So I'm just moving this around just a little bit to get it right where I want it to be. And that looks good to me. So I went ahead and I pressed it on there, and you can see that it is ready to go, and it's going to go right here on top of that panel. So again, we use that as our template. Works out great. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take some of that grosgrain ribbon, and we are going to wrap it around this edge right here So we'll just line it up right there where that edge is and then flip it around. And we're going to use a little Scotch tape to secure that. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So just get that in there and set that in with a little Scotch tape. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take glue, because now we can put this down. There's no more wraps at this point. And we can glue this right on top of our Blushing Bride panel. So that all looks great. You can just wiggle that into place. Now, one thing I found, because I did this as a swap for my downline, I did find that sometimes my edges, right where the ribbon was, sort of popped up a little bit. So in order to alleviate that, I use my Take Your Pick tool, and you can take a glue dot if you wish, and just pop that edge up and throw a glue dot down there, and that is going to really secure your edge so you don't have to worry about those edges popping up. So now look how much tighter that looks, and we're going to do the same thing up here. Instead of having it kind of popping up like that, we're just going to use the Take Your Pick tool, drop a glue dot in, and you are good to go. Look at how nice and tidy that looks now. Absolutely fabulous. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and get this out of the way so that I have a little more room on my desk, and we're going to attach this to the front of our card. So I'm going to put a little line of multi-purpose liquid glue all the way around, and then we're going to set this in just like so. And look at how that mint macaron in the background really pops. That's all due to that extra 1/8 inch border that we used on this card. Sometimes it's just the smallest little margins that make the biggest difference. What is it they say? The details make the difference. All right, so then we have to work on this, and we have to work on our placement of where we're going to put our ribbon. So before I do the ribbon tie on, I'm going to go ahead and get this set up. So as you might imagine, I did pre-prep a scalloped piece that looks like this. Again, it's from our Scalloped Contours dies, which I love, love, love. So that one is from there. And then I'm going to get the Stamparatus out, because this is a red rubber stamp set. So it looks like that. It's not see-through. So that can present some problems if you're trying to stamp on small pieces of paper, which I am trying to do. So I have a 3/4 inch by 2 inch panel. Tricky, 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 let me tell you, because I had to figure this out in stages. And then I finally figured out, like, hello, we've got a Stamparatus, Kay, let's use it. So what I did is I set it all up so that I'm using the logo as my guide of where this small little piece of paper needs to go. So again, it's 3/4 inch by 2 inches. I'm just going to set it right here. And I'm not even going to put a magnet on it or anything, because honestly, if I did that, it would not have room. And I'm just not going to move it. It should be fine. I did it for, I can't even remember how many cards I was doing this for. How many swappers did we have last month? I think it was like 15 of my downline swapped. And so I was doing this quite a bit. So I'm going to take my Whimsical Trees, the stamp set. I'm going to move this over so you can see what I'm doing. Again, this is a little tiny piece of paper, 3/4 inch by 2 inches. So that's just another way that you can use your Stamparatus. So again, I have it set up over here using my logo there as the guide. And when I shut it, it should give me a good image. So I'm going to put my stamp set over here. Then I'm going to take my mint macaron, ink it up, and then all we're going to do is close it. Close that Stamparatus, give it the gentlest little push over the top, and open it up. And of course it sticks because, you know, I don't have a magnet. But, oh, look at that. It fell right down. I didn't even have to use it. But sometimes if it does stick, I just take my take your pick tool and kind of pick it away. But I didn't even have to do that this time. And so here it is. And I'm going to hold it up to the camera because it is just so perfectly stamped in that little tiny 3/4 inch by 2 inch panel of paper. Yes, yes. So that makes stamping in multiples really easy because you can't imagine how many I goofed up just trying to hoover it over and get that stamped. All right, so we have that ready. So we're going to go ahead and take that with our stamp and seal. And we are going to put that onto that panel of Misty Moonlight. So that fits in there just perfect. Looks great. Oh, I didn't get it in there quite perfect. I'm going to pull this up and just wiggle that into place a little better. There we go. All right, burnish it from the back. And then what we're going to do is add some dimensionals. So I'm going to flip it over again. Throw on a couple dimensionals in the back here. And we're going to put this right about here. Now, if my deer image, he's such a cutie, wouldn't you agree? If he was a little lower, I'd probably go ahead and put this up here. So it sort of depends which ornament you want to accent. So I want to accent the deer. So I'm going to keep my ornament or my sentiment a little bit lower on this card. So I'm just centering it in pretty much between the ribbon and the left-hand side. So we'll put that in like that. And then we're going to take a tie-on piece. So I've got my ribbon here, and I want this tie-on piece, because it's pretty thick ribbon, I want to go a little bigger than what I would normally go. Normally I'd make it about 4 inches, but I'm going to go about 4.5 inches just to give myself a little extra room there. Then we're going to do our tie-on. And I just have to see where I want this tie on. So I'm going to tie it on first. Oh my goodness, this ribbon is so lovely to work with. Okay, I probably did use too much, but I kind of like right where it's at. It looks really good there. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim it up. And look at how pretty that is. It's just perfect, just the way it is. But as I mentioned before, you could move that up and down. So once you feel like you have it where you want it, again, just to keep things a little snug, you could take a glue dot, flip this over, and just tack it down with a glue dot just to have it nice and snug there so it doesn't wiggle around. And you know what? That's it. That is our beautiful card for the day. I'm going to bring these all in here so you can see I'm getting lots of hearts. Oh, I do thank you for that. Gosh, that makes me feel good. And I won't be back on a live until a week from today. And then I'll do a surprise giveaway. Who knows what it'll be? All right, I'm going to close this up and go back to putting kits in the mail. Have a great day, everyone. I truly appreciate you. Bye-bye.